Hello everyone and welcome to It's Me JD's 50K video hop. Stay tuned for a giveaway celebrating this occasion. The theme for this hop is rainbows, and I'm using this Concord 9th stamp set called Sweet and Cool. We're gonna make some cool popsicles. So I've been using this Eco Ban towel to clean my stamps. It's the weirdest thing that I've ever seen. It's kind of like it feels fuzzy, but it doesn't leave fuzz on my stamps. And you don't need chemicals to clean with it. It works good so far. And it also says that I can wash it. So I'm really interested in that. I have the Concord 9th Bitty Burst Turnabout stamp and my We Are Memory Keepers Precision Press. And I'm just lining it up so that I can rotate it with my stamp positioner instead of using the grid on the back. To go along with the rainbow theme, I have a rainbow of distress oxides, and we're going to use them with my ink daubers. I love doing this so that I can create a rainbow of like circle background. So I'm just taking my ink dauber, and we've got abandoned coral, wild honey, squeezed lemonade, twisted citron, salty ocean, and wilted violet. And I'm just going around giving them their own dedicated area on this background. So these turnabout stamps are designed so that you can stamp them 4 times in a circle, rotating around so that you can get a really vibrant, full background. I love that the We Are Memory Keepers Precision Press makes this incredibly easy. Now, I did stamp these twice. Okay, so I stamped them and then I re-inked them and stamped them again in the exact same position. So this is 2 stamps, 2 times. I stamped it twice. Okay, and then I loaded it up again to stamp it a second time, which I also stamped twice. Okay, so I stamped a total of 4 times, twice in each of the positions, but only 2 positions. Now I could keep going and make it even fuller and more circles, but I thought this was perfect, so I stopped. So now that I have a god-awful mess of ink on my tool here, I use the Nuvo stamp cleaner. This is a very oily, kind of greasy cleaner, but it does a fantastic job. And I've been using it with that Eco Ban cloth, and I really enjoy that. Just be careful where you spray it because it is really kind of greasy and oily, which is necessary for the job it has to do. So I did cut it down to 3.5 by 4 3/4, and I scored a Simon Says Stamp Fog card base. Now it is a little off center, but it's not bothering me enough to start over. I'm using snot tape to mask for ink blending. We're gonna do some lines on these pieces of Nina 110. This is a Pilot Friction pen, and I'm just marking the size of the popsicles so that I can do the lines where I need them to be. I'm using my favorite blender brushes from Nuvo to brush on random rainbows of color. I have 2 popsicles, and I need 2 different rainbows. So I chose to add the purple to the one and not to the other, and it turned out okay. If I had to do it over again, I might choose to do alternating rainbows, but the only thing that I didn't really like about how these turned out were the yellow and the orange kind of blended too much into each other. But I think they look cute. It really helps when I add my shimmer spritzes because it kind of like blends it all together really nice. Kind of like finishing spray, except it's not your face. So now I don't really need those lines anymore, the pen marks. So to get rid of them, you just heat them with your heat tool and they disappear. It's part of the chemical reaction of the pens. Or you can use a pencil. That was too far away. So now I'm using some Thermoweb purple tape to line up my dies where I want them to cut out from the ink blended lines. And we're going to use some brushed corduroy Distress Oxide inks to ink blend the little popsicle stick bottoms. I needed something very small and precise, so I broke out my Amazon or Life-Changing blender brushes, the makeup brush stuff, the little tiny one. I could have also brushed the last row of brushed corduroy, but I figured I was going to do this. So now I'm going to start with the sentiments, and I'm using the Sweet dye from the Concord 9th Sweet and Cool dyes, and this tonic glossy black cardstock, and I'm cutting it multiple times using a piece of copy paper to protect it. You guys have seen me do this a gajillion times. I'm just taking my Ranger multimedia mat that happens to be in one of the syringes I like to use, the blunt tip syringes. Be careful, there are 2 different E's in that Sweet dye, so be cognizant of which one you're gluing together when you're layering die cuts like that. I did layer it 4 times, there are 4 layers. I stamped this once and then I had to redo it because I had like a booger in there and it was terrible, but the second time stamped perfect. This is Ranger white embossing powder with Nuvo Clear Mark embossing ink, and I'm using Stampin' Up's Lemon Lime Twist, that's the green, and then I also did one of the sentiments on this piece of paper tray ink, Amethyst Allure. It's purple. Then I used my Fiskars wire guide paper trimmer to cut them out. It took me a couple times to get it on that purple one because I wanted it to look as good as the summer, and it took me a couple times. So I'm just cutting them out into as small as possible, leaving just a very small border around them, and then they're going to go on the card just like that. I'm breaking out my Ranger splat box like I do most of the time, but this time we're just going to use some Heavy Doodle memo tape to mask off the popsicle sticks, because we're gonna glitter up the popsicles, make them look all shiny and sparkly like they're frozen. I'm gonna use some shimmer spritz. We're gonna use Imagine Crafts Frost and Sparkle, as well as Hero Art's White Iridescent. I'm going to set that aside to dry and start putting together the card. I've got double-sided Scotch tape and some white craft foam, and I'm just using that to pop up that card panel. I'm using Scotch 3M foam tape for the rest of the images and sentiments. The Sweet is going to be adhered with Ranger multimedia mat in my little syringe, my blunt tip syringe. I'm just using a small strip and then actually using the negative piece to keep it kind of evenly spaced and not wonky. I clipped a hole in the end of it so that I could peel off that negative piece, and I did that for each of the letters because that helped so much. I did manage to get quite a bit of adhesive fingerprints all over my glossy letters, so I tried to use the adhesive remover to make them shiny again. Now, to enter the giveaway, I would love for you to leave a comment on this video congratulating JD for hitting 50,000 subscribers. Details will be in the description box or over on JD's blog. I hope you enjoyed my project for today. Find me on social media. I love interacting with you there as well. Coming up next is some footage of Dexter's end-of-year celebrations.
Woo! Okay, go play with whoever you want. I'll be right here.
Wiskman.
Come here, boy. Come here, boy.
Don't be all rowdy. Calm down.
Be rowdy all you want. It's alright, I like it when they got a little fight in them.
Oh, that guy's getting away.
Oh, you know.
You tried. It was a valiant effort.
And probably most importantly, the crabs are done.